All right. Is it okay if you please state your name and spell it out?
All right. My name is John Trajan Bernardo, Bernardo.
All right. It's nice to meet you, Trajan. So, tell me, what is your favorite superhero, and or who is your favorite superhero, and why do they resonate with you?
Well, throughout my childhood, I grew up on Spider-Man. Well, like his Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. And the reason why that incorporates with me is because, well, as the eldest child of my family, I'm always the responsible of taking care of my brothers and myself. I always try to make sure to keep them happy, and that whenever the pressure comes, I just have to take it all. I'd have to make sure that I keep everyone safe and be happy. Because Spider-Man, he's a man of responsibility, and I'm a man of responsibility too. So that's why I correspond myself with Spider-Man.
So, when did you first discover Spider-Man, and what drew you to them, or to him? Excuse me.
Well, well, for starters, I'm not quite sure, but when I first joined Spider-Man, I did see some old cartoons of him, but I do remember most definitely Ultimate Spider-Man, that Disney XD show. So, well, I got into that, and I loved it so much. And then I saw some other Spider-Man content, like the movies, and also the video game, and I also like the Spider-Verse movie that I can't wait to watch Beyond the Spider-Verse when it comes out next year. So, and I did hear about how the directors of Spider-Verse are a bunch of jerks who can't even and let the writers do their job because, as well, they're overwhelming them too much. So, I'm looking forward to that. So that's how I got into Spider-Man.
So, if you could have one of Spider-Man's powers, what would it be and why?
Well, the basics are web slinging, wall crawling, but I also like to use. Well, I mean, generally I use webs to swing, but I want to go with the spider sense because, of course, you can detect danger or that's about to come at you, and I guess whenever someone like needs help or whenever danger is about to happen, I like to have that in my brain, spider sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you with that one. Uh, how do you think Spider-Man's values align with your own?
Well, I mean, like I said, he's a man of responsibility. So he's always doing his best to protect New York City from villains. So what I want to do is to protect my family so I can learn how to be more responsible for them. That way, I can make sure they're all living happy, normal lives. So that's why Spider-Man is so attached to me and why I'm attached to him.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. That I completely understand that for sure. Involving Spider-Man, what's your favorite storyline or comic arc involving him?
Well, I haven't really read a lot of comics. I just mostly watch the films. But best storyline for him, well, I can say, hey, that, and like it took from the video games, and a part and the Spider-Verse movies. I say when he meets Miles Morales and starts training him to become the next Spider-Man, teaching him how to take responsibility like he did. So it's like in the video. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go with the video game storyline because first game is involves Peter Parker, but then when Miles Morales came along, oh, that's me. But when Miles Morales came along, oh, well, that's when he started being a mentor to him. So that's that's the storyline I'm interested in.
Okay. Um, what do you think makes Spider-Man stand out from other superheroes that have been popular in several, through several decades?
I guess because well, he's young. He's learning a lot of new things every day. So, I guess being part of superhero is part of growing up, learning how to be be a better person, and who you are right now.
And do you think, because I've heard a lot of people say this involving Spider-Man's character, do you think that him being more towards the younger side is what sort of also plays into the factor of him standing out compared to other superheroes?
I think there's, well, even though he's young, I guess you could say he's like a protege, hey, when it comes to superhero and like he's gifted, hey, not with the spider abilities, but also with the character he built up in himself, because of all the lessons he was taught from Uncle Ben and in his family. So that's pretty much what he stands out.
Okay. Um, are there any life lessons that you feel like you've learned from watching Spider-Man movies and playing video games that you could, sort of take into your life?
I would say, hey, the great power, great responsibility thing, but I'm also thinking that in Across the Spider Verse, when Miles was nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. I guess as you could say that sometimes you gotta do things independently because there's some things that are not gonna agree with you, but you gotta learn. But even though that's true, you can't always think that's the only way. You gotta think outside the box. You gotta see there's more than one angle to things.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with being independent, for sure. That's a big lesson that I think everybody can learn. How do you feel about the portrayal of Spider-Man? How do you feel like his portrayal in media has evolved over the years?
I think his portrayal has actually inspired a lot of young adults to learn how to take responsibility as well. So I say, he's the one who's been in developing and teaching these young kids that, and even though you're young, you're gifted and you have a lot to do, and you want to do, and you got to learn how to do them because you got to take responsibility for it all.
Um, so obviously, when it comes to superheroes, Marvel, DC, they're sort of any superhero sort of like spread out in multiple different aspects of media, such as comics, TVs, movies, and like you mentioned, video games. So I want to know what type of media do you prefer when it comes to following Spider-Man? Is it the video games? Is it the movies, the TV shows? What is your favorite type of media that Spider-Man's appeared in?
I'm gonna have to go with television and film because, well, I like to see things and watch them in action, and then I mean I know all comics are nice. I prefer the moving pictures. I mean, video games are alright too, but you gotta do it yourself. So I want to see the heroes do the things instead of me doing it for them.
Yeah, so you would actually see them doing so you would actually see them in action yourself, than feeling like you're controlling them.
Right.
Okay.
I feel like I don't want to be a puppet or a puppet master or anything. I just want to be the viewer.
Yeah, absolutely. And one last question before we wrap this up. When it comes to Spider-Man, what is one moment involving him that has left a lasting impact on you?
One thing that he's left a massive impact. I'm gonna I'm gonna take a wild guess on this one, and I'm gonna say, the biggest thing he can do is it's always better to do things when you're a team, when you're part of a team, because well, Spider-Man usually works alone, but when he has friends on his side, like MJ, Harry, Miles, and all the other Spider-Men, well, you can pretty much accomplish anything. So you gotta rely more on your friends rather than yourself, because that's the most important thing, teamwork.
Absolutely. All right, I want to thank you, Trajan, for doing this interview with me. It was very appreciative on your part, and I'm really happy that I got to sit down with you today.
All right, thank you. You're welcome.